check out that new style of playmat featured on 1000noble.com. So cool, so wow.
Hello everybody, my name is Connor and welcome into another Purple Luffy versus Nico Robin game. This game was really fun. My opponent's Nico Robin list is really cool and I definitely think it's one of the best Nico Robin lists I've seen, so we're going to go ahead and leader ability to get to 4 Dawn. Not really much to do, unfortunately. And that's kind of rough. That's really not what you want to see with Luffy, is you want to see that 4-cost character, at least one when you ramp, but was hoping to see it off the ramp, and we could have dropped Nami, but just would have been a blocker, so I didn't think that that was a good play. Maybe that will bite us in the butt later, but we do end up hitting Robin for 1, and they go ahead and swing 5, discarding a Nico Olivia, and I go ahead, give them the 1 with the Onami there, and then they drop a Kikinojo, which is kind of frustrating to deal with. Definitely. I'm at a point where if I keep my life up, I can easily swing into Kikinojo without the ability, but we'll see. So I end up going 5 into lead. I'm thinking that yeah, we're gonna lead our ability, grab a Sanji, go to 7. I don't think I have a Luffy Taro in my hand, but we could go ahead and play down a Sanji, potentially, unless that's a Luffy Taro. Never mind, Luffy Taro, much better play into, I believe, the Sangoro, my favorite play, because not only do I love Sangoro because Sanji's my boy, but the ability to draw a card every turn is so good. And there is part of me that feels like there's a bit of, when it comes down to the purple Straw Hat leader characters, there's a part of me that feels that it comes down to who gets more Gum Gums. And as you can see, we have 1 Gum Gum Giant in our hand, but our opponent going ahead and dropping the Demon Robin, getting rid of our 9 Mom, which is very unfortunate. We go ahead, get out of the 5 with the Sanji, and at this point, I am not feeling good, guys. My hand size is not nearly as wide as or as large as I want it to be, and we are not really drawing the pieces that we want. So, with the board they have, I believe I'm thinking about killing off the Kikinojo and healing them. It's not my favorite idea, but I think I might need to at this point. So trying to figure out what we want to do. We'll go ahead and swing 6. Looks like we go ahead and draw the Eustace Kid. Looks like we're swinging 6 into lead. We get the Frankie 2K out of their hand. And I think we're thinking about playing down Eustace Kid. Honestly, I have been thinking about dropping Eustace Kid and playing the Queen just to get more cards in hand, but I'm not exactly sure. But we do end up swinging Luffy Taro into Kikinojo, healing our opponent, which doesn't feel great, but I think that it was something I needed to do to get 1 less swing off the board. And we do go ahead and swing the 8, get that life they just gained, and then we drop the Eustace Captain Kid blocker and pass turn. Definitely feeling a little scared here. Don't really want... it's tough because I'm not... It's hard for me, at least. I'm not very familiar with the Robin matchup. I do appreciate that he is just swinging those 5s. Easy for me to counter out. And yeah, here I will just go ahead and block with Eustace Kid. He ends up swinging these 6, the Demon Robin into Sangoro, and I am going to give him Kamazo there, I think. One of the things with Robin is I feel like there's so many ways to build her list that I'm not really sure what to expect, but he's already at 9, so he is going to drop that rush, gain that card, and swing 9 into Sangoro. And as much as I would love to counter, I'm thinking about it. I want that card draw. I just can't afford to counter like that. So we have a handful of Usops, and we do have our own rush there, so that is nice. And we are at 10 Dawn, so I do want to leave 1 Dawn active for Gum Gum, and I'm thinking that I need to answer his rush with my own rush here. And yeah, I'm thinking I'll go 6 into Robin. This, I do have used this kit up, which means when I minus that Dawn for rush Luffy, I will be able to get it back for Gum Gum. So that honestly is worth keeping kid in the set, in the list. But yeah, I end up drawing another Kamazo. Not exactly my favorite thing there. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to swing into life, get some life down, or get some cards out of hand? And I am going to swing 10 into his Luffy there, getting a 2k out of his hand. And part of me was tempted not to swing at all, but I do end up swinging the 8 and getting a life off of Robin. So I feel like this game was really close, and I think that this is definitely a tough part of the game. So he ends up playing Sanji, resting my Eustace Kid, which is quite a bummer. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to take what hits I can from not leader. If he goes into life, if he goes into board, that's different. I want to keep my board healthy. I could let Kid go I think that's probably the best choice if he swings into Kid. And I think he knows that Kid is probably Kid is a really valuable target, but he's, to me right now, he's the least. I don't think I can afford to save him. So he ends up swinging 5 with lead and 10 with our 10 into Luffy Taro, and I do Gum Gum Giant that, hoping to get something a little more top end, and I don't. So I don't know exactly how I feel about that play. It might have been better to save my Gum Gum for later, especially because I am only seeing 1, and he is leaving 2 Dawn up, which should give me a pretty good sign that he has more Gum Gums. So we end up seeing a Luffy Taro, we end up seeing a 9 Mom. Pretty unfortunate that we see the 9 Mom in the search, but Luffy Taro, not a bad option, I don't think. I just don't really have an option to play anything off of it, so I do decide to take the Uso Hachi, just to get that counter in my hand. Yeah, if I had anything to play off of it, I think I might have taken the Luffy Taro and Luffy Taro'd into something just to keep my board wide, but yeah, unfortunately, just I got a handful of Uso Hachis. So we set 5 Dawn aside to have for when we're ready to drop Eustace Kid. And with the remaining 4 Dawn, if I'm not mistaken, I think I will catch on that I think I have 5 over there. So 10, I will swing 10. I think I'm swinging into the Sanji, but with the 2 Dawn up, he either has 2 giants or he's baiting 2 giants, and I need to be aware of that. It's really tough. So he ends up taking that, so I was swinging into life. He gets a Kikanojo, which is I probably should have gone for board here, I think. Swinging my Luffy into Sanji there. I think that's a decent play. I think I probably should have swung the Luffy Taro into Sanji, and then I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because I think towards the end of the game here, this is where I falter. So he ends up dropping a Yamato with the 9 Mom, or excuse me, with the Gum Gum Giant to keep Sanji alive, trashing a beige. So I'll just go ahead, poke 5 at life, and he goes ahead and gives me that 1k. So with the rest of my 5, I go ahead and play down the Eustace Kid. I feel like late game in the purple matchup, if you are not going for lethal, and let me know what you guys think about this. I feel like I need to be baiting that I have Giant. I can't not leave one up, because playing around Giant makes the game a lot different than if you didn't play around Giant. So, because, I mean, Giant just gives you so much value that... So I think tapping 5 here, leaving no Dawn up, is a little bit telling that I don't have Giant, that my hand is not looking good, judging by that turn. So he ends up setting 1 Dawn aside. That's, looking back at it, he's got Giant. Definitely did not see my Giants this tournament, so a little bit unlucky, but I still feel like we are playing pretty well. I think there is some things that we did in this game. I think if I had pressure board like last turn, instead of swinging into life, if I had just pressured board, there was a chance I could have gotten more Giants out of him, or I could have gotten more cards out of him. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, he might be going for lethal. One thing I didn't really consider, which I should have, is that if he has another Rush Sanji, that can rest my my Eustace Captain Kid. But he ends up just stacking the Dawn on to Sanji and swinging, and yeah, I think he feels safe doing this because I don't have that Dawn up. I am clearly showing that I do not have Giant, and I end up letting Luffy Taro go, thinking it's more valuable to keep my what is his name, Luffy, alive. So they end up going 6. I give them the 2K and Kamazo, and yeah, I'm definitely feeling like Kamazo is okay at best. But I'm trying to decide if I want to block, if I want to counter. They do have the Kikunojo swing. I give them 4K there, and if they swing Kikunojo into life, I take it, hoping for another Giant, and it's useless Captain Kid again. We are really not seeing anything. We are running out of steam painfully quickly, I feel. And yeah, with two bodies that can swing on board and leader, and no Giant, it is looking very grim, and I feel like I have to go for game here because I'm dead next turn. So I feel like I misplay. Actually, I discussed with my opponent, who's a very, very good player, and I think that so I'm thinking about swinging 5 just to get a card out of hand, and we discussed it later. I should have swung Luffy first, but I don't. I start poking these tiny little pokes to try and get some cards out of hand. He does give me a 1K there, but I think I needed to swing Luffy first, and then if he took, just throwing everything else on Eustace Kid. But instead, I'm playing this weird, I'm gonna swing and poke, get as many cards out of hand as you can, and I think that's definitely not how I should have done it. So there he has a Giant. He ends up minusing 2 Dawn for trashing another Yamato, drawing 2 cards, and at this point I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty much toast. He's got, I think that's 4 cards in hand, and yeah, unfortunately I end up swinging with the Luffy. 9. I swing 9 with Luffy, and he is thinking about countering out. And I think he mentioned that if he needed his life to be something pretty good, and I think it gave him another counter. I swing 11 here with the Luffy, hoping that is enough, but with the cards he has in hand, he is able to get out of it. So really unfortunate. I go ahead and fold, knowing that he's got the game there. And I rush Sanji. So I think, and there's Giant there, top card. I really needed another Giant. I definitely am not seeing Giant as much as I want to, but I do feel like in the matchup of purple Straw Hat leaders, it is definitely almost a who sees a Giant more match, which very unfortunate. But I think that going for lethal, I think I really did mess up. But if you guys have been a long time viewer, you guys know that I definitely struggle with the best way to go for lethal. It's something I think is probably my... Believe it or not, you might be like, really, this is your weakest part of the game? I've watched your videos, it's all weak. But yeah, the going for lethal, I think, is where I struggle the most. So yeah, I think if I had swung Luffy, gotten the life, and then loaded everything up on Kid, I would have got it. But lethal sequencing is bad. So yeah, that does it for me, guys. But I still wanted to post this game because I thought it was an interesting game, and I thought I did okay up until the end there, and I definitely wanted some feedback on any other spots that you guys noticed that I could have played better, or, anything like that. But I am going to go ahead and end it here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, hit that like button down below. It helps me out more than you can ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you're new, as well as if you want to go ahead and go the extra mile to support the channel. We do have memberships. Link is down in the description below. No need to, of course, but if you want to, it is an option. Or do something for yourself. Link for my playmats down below as well. Get yourself something nice, as well as supporting me. So yeah, that is going to do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.